Just waiting on Reid, so we'll start. Hi, Reid.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well.
Great. So let's wait a couple of minutes. Maybe if you want to start by introducing yourself as people kind of come in, and then yeah, you can kickstart and go. I don't know if you have some slides to share or anything like that, but you can share them. You should see a button on the bottom of your desktop, basically, which says share screen.
Exactly. And it's a pleasure to be speaking with everyone today. Actually, this is my, for all the time we've been doing, the remote world and COVID times, this is actually going to be my first Discord-esque video or voice session. So great to be kicking it off with you all as well. We will give folks just a couple more minutes, and then I will start sharing my screen, and we can dive in.
Great.
Where's everyone joining from today? I know we have a pretty diverse group from across the globe.
Yeah, it's super diverse. I can let everybody maybe just say quickly where you guys are joining from.
Yeah, mainly that was a social experiment to say who among you are type A's and who among you are type B's in terms of personality. We might not have any type A's.
We can go in alphabetical order, like the order down the voice channel. Andrea, do you want to start just saying where you're joining from, and we can go from there?
Yes, I'm Andrea. I'm Italian. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm living in Mexico City.
Awesome. Phil, you can say where you're joining from. Or I know he's joining from London because he's with me. So I can speak for that. Next one, Foxia.
I'm from Russia, so I had no electricity for months. Now I'm here again.
Awesome, thank you so much. Helen?
Hi, sorry, my connection's pretty bad right now, so I hope I caught everything. I live in France, but I'm Canadian. Yeah.
Super. Medina from MabLab. I don't know if she heard me. Murat?
Hello, I am from Turkey. I live in Izmir currently. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Nedso?
Okay.
If you're there, Nedso. All right, Octavio?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Nice to meet you. I'm Octavio from Cuba, and I live in Havana. An artist and from the physical art, and now in the NFT space. Nice to meet you.
Awesome. Kyuksum?
Everyone, joining you from Moldova. It's a small country between Romania and Ukraine.
Amazing. Reid, do you want to say where you're joining from too?
Yeah, and I'm as you can probably tell from my voice, I'm American, but live full-time in Berlin. And actually today I am joining you from Egypt, and I'll explain why I'm in Egypt in a couple minutes.
Okay, we have Santiago. Hello. If you're there. I know he's joining from Brazil. Tukus can't speak right now because they're on the bus. Walt.
Hello, I'm Walt from Finland. I do traditional art and digital art.
Great. Warag.
Hi everyone, this is Waragwag from the Little Red Dot, Singapore. I do 3D animation.
Amazing. And Will?
Hello, I'm Will. I'm from Indonesia, living at Jakarta now.
Nice. Okay. I think we covered everyone apart from the ones that couldn't.
No.
Yeah, Madina, I know.
It's Mablab. Yeah, sorry. Hi, it's Mablab. We are an artistic duo, two sisters. We are from Kazakhstan. We focused on architecture, metamorphic objects, and architectural landscapes and forms. Yeah.
All right. Beautiful. Okay, and everyone, you have to forgive me for 1 second. For me to be able to share my screen, I have to close out Discord and log back in. So I will see you in about 2 seconds. Okay. I'm going to turn on my video just for a second so I can give you all a little wave, say hello. I am actually, as I said, I'm in Egypt right now. I live in Berlin full time, but my fiance is German, and the rules in America are still that Europeans can't travel to the US directly from Europe, so we have to do 2 weeks somewhere outside of the country. So that's why we are on the Red Sea for 2 weeks, trying to bide our time appropriately. I'm gonna click off video and start sharing my screen, and we'll jump into things. Right. Now, can everyone see the first screen right here?
Yes.
Is Tezos Safety and Security, August 10th, 2021?
Yep.
Works
All
great.
right. Thank you. So what we're going to go through today is really kind of a dual presentation and a little bit of interactive with everyone on the call of what is cryptocurrency in a broader sense, but more importantly, how can you best secure it? And also, how do you stay safe out there in the NFT world? Knowing that a lot of these new technologies and new aspects of how you use and transfer and hold money might be a little bit different than our traditional methods. What we'll do is kind of go through both a little bit of a history lesson on a couple things, but also walk through more tangibly what are some of the tools out there to secure your cryptocurrency, and also how should you even think about your online and digital profile out there in the NFT artist world. So, safety and security in the crypto world. You've broken into the crypto and the NFT world. What's next? The critical questions that we will be talking about today are: how do I securely hold my crypto assets? What is public and private key encryption? How do I use a hardware wallet? Should I even use one? What should I look out for in the crypto world? And how do I protect my identity? Today, we will dive into some of these basic questions and concerns around crypto safety and security. quick rundown of what we'll jump through. First, kind of just an origin of Bitcoin, public and private key encryption, crypto wallets, protecting your identity, phishing, porting, and other scams that are out there, and then we'll end with some best practices material as well. One of the things that I might have mentioned to you as well previously is that we will also be sending everyone a Ledger, which is a hardware wallet, which we'll dive into more of the nuances of it at the end under best practices, so that everybody has access to the technology we're talking about, both the tools that are available online, but also the physical devices as well. But first, let's do a poll. And I might have to jump between screens here, given how Discord does screen share. But first up, how many of you hold Bitcoin? Anyone? And also, I think what you might be able to do is just respond a yes or a no in maybe the Residence Artist channel. So you got 3, we got 4, 5, 6. All right. How many of you hold Tezos? Tez. All right. And the last one, Ethereum. I think that's 10. Okay. All right. And last question. Do you hold anything else? Don't have to say what, just more of a social poll and experiment here. Three, 4. 5. You got 6. You got 2 more people typing, so we'll give it a second. Okay, so from that very quick poll, this is what we are looking at. So about 2/3 of everyone hold Tez and Ethereum equally. We have a couple of Bitcoin holders out there, and then we have a couple people that hold a range of other things. You know, what this really shows, at least to me, from someone who looks at all this from the outside, is that, you know, mainly as artists, you're looking for what's the utility of crypto to you all. Why are you here? What is it worth to you? Why do you actually need it? And when I look at Tez and Ethereum, you know, those are the 2 primary assets that unlock the NFT world, to be able to mint creations, but also to be able to collect them. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is kind of more of just that stable, you know, foundational asset that a lot of people, you know, consider to be, you know, a tool to hold money other than fiat currencies or gold. You know, Bitcoin still does have a lot of climate concerns around how it's secured through mining, but that is pretty much the number I was expecting. And actually, I would say I am fairly surprised that we also have a good number of additional assets as well that folks hold. So that is great to kind of start off here, because now we can make sure we're talking about everything, really as a whole to everything in crypto, not just to Tezos or Ethereum or Bitcoin. Does anyone want to share their first experience of transacting crypto? If anybody really does want to share it, you can just click on and share your experience of how you first transacted cryptocurrency.
It was my friend introduced me to crypto. I don't remember, maybe 2017 or 18. I just bought my crypto from Binance, and then we had bought some beers or cola, and then he paid me in crypto. That was my first transaction.
No, that's actually really cool. And I don't even know that if I have ever actually used crypto to pay for anything such as simple as a beer.
No, we paid fiat, but he paid me in crypto.
Oh, he paid you back in crypto. Okay, yeah. Perfect. And do you remember what he used or what you used? Did he just pay you back over Binance, or did you use a wallet?
No, it was the wallet in Binance, the Binance account we used.
Perfect.
From Binance to Binance.
And so that's my next question for everybody. What do you use to transact your crypto? And really for this one, my basic questions would be, does anybody own a hardware wallet right now? Or does everybody pretty much use what we call hot wallets, online wallets?
My husband has a hardware wallet, but I don't know how to use it. I use like my hot wallet in general, but everything that's all our most valuable NFTs, we transfer to my husband's hardware wallet.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I have the better, yeah.
Very cool. Perfect. All right. And that's the next question. Who owns a hardware wallet? Okay. So I think we're now ready to dive in. We have a pretty good understanding of where most of everyone sits and everything. One thing I want to say at the outset here, that when we're talking about safety and security for crypto assets, whenever I refer to the term crypto asset, that really does mean anything that is attached to a transaction. So when we're talking about NFTs, all that is just a transaction of a crypto asset that inside the metadata is the NFT, or the metadata itself is the NFT. So as we go through this, keep in mind that while part of the conversation will be geared towards crypto assets of tokens, that is almost the exact same thing as whether or not you are trying to secure an NFT as well. All right. First, I'm just going to go through very basically at the high level, what is Tezos? Tezos is something that I think a lot of you have experience in minting NFTs on. And it's also what I spend my day-to-day on, and will be a good kind of segue into talking about our conversation for the origin of Bitcoin as well. Give me a heads up if you all can hear and see this video as well. We're just going to watch the first 60 seconds of it.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
I don't hear
We don't
it.
have sound, unfortunately.
No sound. All right. Well, what I'll do is I will send this link for those that are able to watch. For those that are able to watch, you can click on it and watch the first 60 seconds. For those that are not able to, I'll give you a quick synopsis. This is Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple, talking about how the human, when ranked against other animals in the world, is really one of the most inefficient species for locomotion, movement. But if you give a human being a bicycle, they instantly become the most efficient in terms of locomotion on the planet. So when Steve Jobs created the Apple computer, he really saw it as kind of a bicycle for the mind, which is the next slide here of one of their original advertisements back in 1980. It was just a guy on a bicycle or a person on a bicycle with a computer strapped to their back. And so when we really think about Bitcoin or crypto or Tezos or anything like that, we're really looking at a tool that increases the efficiency of our ability to transact digitally, to conduct commerce, to explore creativity. And so that's what Tezos really is. Tezos is just a tool. It's an open source piece of software, and it empowers creators and builders. I'll give folks another 10 seconds here to finish watching the first minute of that if they are. Okay. So what is Bitcoin? It's really important when we're talking about security for crypto assets to understand what is Bitcoin, not what is Bitcoin to Bitcoin maximalists or people that want to overthrow a world, but what is Bitcoin in terms of the origin of it? Where did this idea of a blockchain actually come from? And what is some of the cryptological aspects, the technology importance and the innovations that came behind it? Bitcoin at its core was not just something that Satoshi Nakamoto, this infamous pseudonymous individual, created. He didn't create it overnight. He didn't create it alone. Really, Bitcoin is the culmination of massive innovations in the cryptology world, mainly spurred by cypherpunks over a number of years. I could have stretched this list back to 1960 if I really wanted to, but here are kind of some of the core aspects that really built up everything coming into 2009 when the Bitcoin white paper was released. The first one was in 1985, where a project by David Chaum released DigiCash. That essentially created the ability to have signatures that verified transactions in a digital manner that were unique. So whenever you go and collect an NFT, say you're collecting it on Higgins, and you collect it, and then you have to jump to your wallet and click, sign a transaction. That's where that actually came from David Chaum back in 1980. In 1987, David Beck created the anti-spam mechanism called Hashcash. It's actually kind of incredible that one of the original ideas for email and internet communications generally actually was to prevent spam, not to actually increase it. So they wanted to create a computational tax for every email and every message you sent. That would save my email inbox from marketers every single day if that was still, but it's not. B-Money was created by Reid in 1998. This essentially was the first usage of both smart contracts and e-agreements between two different anonymous actors. Al Finney in 2004 created a reusable proof of work. This was essentially the bedrock of what Bitcoin is today. And then 2005, Nick Szabo created a non-scarce digital collectible. This is essentially a precursor, not only just to NFT, but also to the ability for Bitcoin to literally have 21 million unique tokens out there in the world, and no more. So it's really important to understand that Bitcoin as itself and all the different aspects that underpin it, public and private key security, blind signatures, proof of work to secure it, it's all really tied back to a very, very highly technical world of cryptology. Not just some random internet money that popped up. This is top level PhD scientists for the last 60 years coming up with that contributed to it. So one of the biggest things on this is public and private key encryption. That is the bedrock of crypto security. Does anybody understand, even before I dive into it, what public and private key encryption is, just at the outset? Does anybody want to share?
I have some understanding, but I can't explain it really.
Yeah. And, I'm probably going to say those exact same words over the next 5 minutes. And we'll actually listen to a couple other videos very shortly that will explain it in better ways. But at the most basic element, public and private key encryption is quite simple. You have a public key, you have a private key. The public key points back to a private key, but the private key can never point back to the public key. That allows, when you are transacting crypto between two people, to essentially be able to have your public address and their public, but you will never know their private address. So put that in text format. Public key cryptography uses if other users want to encrypt data, they get the intended recipient's public key from a public directory, aka a blockchain. This key is used to encrypt that message and to send it to the recipient. When the message arrives, the recipient decrypts it using their private key, which no one else has access to. So whenever you have engaged with a smart contract, such as Higgins as the easy example here, that is essentially what you're doing, is using your public key and someone else's public key to unlock a transaction and encrypt it, verifiably sign it. Relating back to what the foundation of this is and the cryptology aspect, I will also paste this one in so you can watch it. This one is just a very short minute. I will give everyone a minute and 30 seconds to watch that if you are able to. If you are not, I will give a brief synopsis at the end.
So the RSA crypto system is based on the difficulty of factoring large numbers, which are products of two prime numbers.
To use the RSA crypto system, first you have to find two primes, P and Q, and then you multiply them together to create their product called N. Then you form a number called phi of N, which is P minus 1 times Q minus 1. Then you find a number E, which is relatively prime to phi of N, and a number D such that E times D is congruent to 1 mod phi of N. And then your public key becomes the number N and the number E, and your private key becomes the number N and the number D.
And the decryption operation, very pleasingly, is just the same operation, but with the ciphertext being raised to a different power, D, and the message M resulting back. This algorithm is used very widely, and as far as we know, is perfectly sound and usable for quite a bit into the future.
Okay, some of you might be wondering now, what did I just watch and why did I just watch that? The very short answer is there are so many things about security that we, just as people that have around mathematics and numbers, probably never understand. I like to share this video when I talk about this because you can see just how casually, especially Leonard Alder's second part, how casually they talk about this in such a high level of thought and make no attempt to explain it to the average person. So let's dive into something that actually does explain it to the average person. And I'll paste this link here. For this one, we're just going to watch to 3:33. And I'll let everyone do that since it sounds like the audio does not come through. And I'll play my video with subtitles for those that can't access.
There are a few questions that keep coming back, like how do wallets work? See, to use a cryptocurrency, you need a wallet to store your virtual coins. And just like a bank account, it has a unique address. It looks something like this, depending on the cryptocurrency. It seems like a randomly generated string of letters and numbers, but in reality, there's a bit more going on. The first thing we need to know is how these are created. Anyone can create a new wallet by generating a key pair with a certain algorithm. In the case of Bitcoin or Ethereum, that is via an elliptical curve digital signature algorithm. And that's quite a mouthful, but the takeaway here is that the algorithm will spit out a private key and a public key. These keys are mathematically linked to each other, which means you can take the private key and derive the public key from it. But you cannot take the public key and turn it into the private one. I made a video about this right here. Now, these two keys serve a different purpose. The public key will become your wallet's address, kind of like your bank account number. And the private key is your way of proving that you are the owner of the wallet, and thus that you can spend the coins inside of it. So, in summary, public keys can be shared with everyone, while private keys should be kept to yourself, unless you want other people to decide what to do with your money. So far so good, but this system has a few interesting side effects that I want to mention. For starters, everyone can generate an unlimited amount of wallets right on their own computers. It's only limited by how fast your computer can generate these key pairs. However, nobody will know about your newly created wallet until it receives some coins. See, a cryptocurrency only keeps track of transactions between wallets. It doesn't have a list of all wallets in existence. So if your newly created wallet hasn't been involved in any transaction, it simply doesn't exist for the outside world. Think of it this way. The blockchain is just a giant spreadsheet with transactions between wallets. But the blockchain itself doesn't really care about if these wallets exist or not. It's only when you want to spend coins in a wallet that you have to prove that you are the owner, and you can only do that with the private key that is associated with the wallet's address. Another side effect is that you can transfer coins to a wallet address that doesn't exist. Again, a blockchain doesn't have a list of valid addresses, so it cannot check if you're transferring coins to an existing one. In case you transfer coins to an invalid address, then those are lost forever, unless someone can generate the private key for that particular wallet address, which right now isn't really possible because of how the algorithm works. Fun fact, this is often referred to as coin burning, and it's sometimes done by cryptocurrency projects to reduce their total supply and increase their value. Or it's done to get rid of coins that weren't distributed during their initial coin offering. The last cool side effect that I want to mention is that you can create a wallet while being offline, you can give that address to someone else, and they will be able to send coins to it. And later when you get back online, you can use your private key to spend those coins. Cool, huh? So if you want to store some coins in the safest possible way, you can generate a wallet while being offline, print out the public and private key, destroy the keys on your computer, and then send some coins to it. This is called a paper wallet, and it's the most radical but most secure way of storing your coins. So this was a quick overview of how wallets work in a cryptocurrency.
So I'll give just a couple more seconds for people to wrap up on that one, and then we'll talk about it for a couple seconds. So the main takeaway from that video there is really just solidifying the understanding of what public and private key, so that you understand when you are crypto what that string of numbers and characters actually means. That is your public key. That is your address. That is your title. That is your bank account numbers. That is your routing number. That is who you are on the public blockchain. The thing that is different about public and private key encryption that is not the same as, say, your bank account is that the private key typically is something that you hold yourself. This is an issue across the board in crypto because not everybody is set up both mentally, physically, or even just due to circumstances of where you live to hold that private key. It's something that you want to hold securely, you want to have written down. If you are individuals living in a place that is in constant influx of where you're living, you might not have a secure location to keep this private key. You also might not have a secure location to keep the recovery words as well for the private key. So that's why a lot of people turn to services such as, we talked earlier about, some folks at Transact in crypto, using a centralized exchange such as Binance or Coinbase. They actually hold your private key. There are also some hot wallets that are just, mobile wallets such as Kukai or Temple or MetaMask that they also technically hold your private key in one sense or another. So really, to have full security over your crypto holdings, you need to have both your public and private key. And when we, at the end here, I'll walk through setting up a hardware and it'll be very clear, what is a private and public key. But that's the main takeaway here. Is the public key is what everyone can see. The private key is actually what makes blockchain and digital security special. You don't always have access to your private key when you're using different crypto wallets. That is just a reality of seamless user interfaces and usability, but it's also important to understand why this matters in certain scenarios. So with that, we will jump into crypto wallets. So a couple of minutes ago, and sorry, I'm not looking at the Discord list, so I don't remember the name of the individual, but you mentioned how whenever you have some NFTs that are higher value than others, you store them on your friend's cold wallet. That's important because you want to be able to think about how do you set up your own crypto holdings appropriately. Some crypto wallets are easier to transact in, to actually be going and collecting artwork or to go and be sending money to different people or engaging in different interfaces. But when you have something that you want to hold and you want to secure, you want to put that in some place where you hold both your public and private key. And that's really the difference of a hot wallet and a cold wallet. So a hot wallet is any wallet that's connected to the internet. These wallets can store crypto, they can sign transactions, they can send and receive crypto. An example of these would be Kukai, MetaMask. Is there anybody that is not familiar with what Kukai or MetaMask in terms of wallets are? And you could either just type it out or chime in verbally. Okay, so Kukai and MetaMask are probably the two. MetaMask is definitely the most popular Ethereum hot wallet. Kukai is one of the more popular ones in the Tezos ecosystem in terms of hot wallet. They live on your internet browser. So MetaMask is both something you can access just by typing into a website, but it also can be accessed as a browser extension. Kukai is something that is just a website. You type in, go to kukai.com, and then you can go and access your wallet from there using your login. So these wallets are perfect for everyday usage of crypto. If you are collecting, if you are transacting, if you are participating in, say, a DAO, they are perfect for that. But are they perfect for holding large sums of money? Are they perfect for holding those big, holding the Tez or XTZ that you are staking? Are they perfect for holding your highly valuable NFT? They aren't really. They're really more just there for convenience to always be connected and easy and quick transactions. So what are cold wallets? Cold wallets are physical devices. That's the big difference between a hot wallet and a cold. A cold wallet is a physical device not connected to the internet. They're also referred to as hard wallets sometimes. So hard, physical, that's the connection. You can store crypto, including both public and private keys. You can sign your transactions, send and receive crypto. An example of this is a Ledger Nano S. Is there anybody that has never ever seen a hardware wallet before? Has no idea what they look like? We're all familiar. Just in case, what I'll do is I will just quickly type in here. This is a ledger. This is actually the exact ledger that we will be sending around to everybody after this. It is a tiny looking piece of plastic and metal with a tiny little screen and a basic Android charging port. That's it. And it collapses into something that can fit in your pocket. It's about the size of a penny. So I'm going to pause there for a couple seconds and see if anybody has any questions about the stuff we have covered here. So far what we've gone through is kind of the origin of Bitcoin, crypto, why that is important to understand, about why we have a public and private key. And we talked about public and private keys, what they are, or why it matters, why hold. And now we've just kind of covered what are the different there, why do those wallets matter. Feel free to type out questions or chime in verbally.
How does it sign, like a cold wallet? How does it sign when it's not connected to internet?
So that is a great question. So there are two different ways that you could sign a cold wallet without connecting to the internet. The first way is actually you connect it to the internet. So whenever you are signing a transaction with a cold wallet, there are two different formats for doing it. One is actually some wallets, such as the ledgers, actually allow you to sign transactions offline. They are able to record these through a, you essentially have a app either on a mobile phone or laptop, and you connect it in, and without being on the internet, you sign a transaction, and then that app will then put that transaction onto the blockchain afterwards. The other way to do it is very simply, when you are signing a transaction, you just literally connect them together. So for the one that I'll walk you through, it's actually done by Bluetooth with a wallet on your phone, and it's the same as with a hot wallet. You might hear of like custodians for digital asset custodians. These are people who like hold multi-millionaire and billionaires, all their crypto, maybe in a vault underneath a Swiss mountain somewhere. They actually have tech systems that allow cold wallets not connected to the internet to sign transactions for everyday individuals. For everyday individuals like us, it is not really possible to sign transactions while being offline. But the easiest way to do it is literally, because when you are, say, you're transferring a highly valuable NFT you have just collected to your cold wallet, you are connecting to the internet for that transfer.
Thank you. I have one more question. I read about the Kukai's Linux offline signing. But when I checked, I couldn't find it anymore. Like it was outdated or something. Do you have any idea about this?
Yeah, so actually I caught up with their team just the other day. They are updating that system, and it's not available right now, but I do think they hope to have it up and running again sometime in this couple of weeks or later. But it is something that they understand that people are looking for, because it does allow for a much deeper level of security as well.
Yeah, thank you, Reid.
And then I'll just cover a couple that are in the chat right here. So does hardware wallet work on iOS? Yes, it does. And actually, I have all iOS stuff, and I will show in the demonstration. I'll show one that works on that. And I'll actually just jump down to your second question as well. Can we also store different coins on it, or is it only Tezos? So the Ledger wallet has I'm trying to remember exactly how many coins. I think it's 6, but it has, actually, this is just an easily Googleable question. Coins says Ledger support. But anyway, yes, it does. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Monero, Polkadot, EOS, Binance Coin, and Tezos. And it looks like there's even a larger list as well. So yes, you can store all of your precious crypto on the ledger. And NFTs, yes. So the NFT part, what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to send around some documentation about the NFTs. So different NFT token formats. So in Ethereum, ERC-721, Tezos, it's a different token standard, different. So you do want to be conscious of that, and it's a little bit more difficult maneuvering. But I have some documentation that I'm going to send around for everybody, so you can actually reference as you're going through these processes. Hey, like, can I actually transfer my NFT? And then Octavio, I've heard about hardware wallets, not seen them before. This is why this one that you show said Tezos edition. So we just had a agreement with Ledger to white label brand some ledgers as the Tezos edition, which is why when we give them out to folks, they say Tezos. Is it security created Kukai wallet while using Temple wallet C-Free? So you are actually, when you have the Temple wallet and the Kukai wallet are actually two different wallet service providers. So they are both creating brand new wallets. If you're asking, is it safe to use the exact same seed phrase for both wallets? That is essentially the same. Is it safe to use the same password for your Gmail account, or the same password for your bank account? It is not advisable, but it is possible. You can do that if you would like, but it is not necessarily the safest thing to do. If that answers the question. Anything else before we push on? All right. With that, I will scoot back over to here, and we will go on a little bit. Okay. We are going to just do a little practice test. For this, is there anybody that would like to receive some Tez in a little practice here? Yeah, airdrop, exactly. All right. So we'll do this twice just so we can hang on to it and understand everything. So Parag, do you want to paste in your public key? So this is essentially that we're going back to grade school here. This is the class. Do you understand what public key is versus your private key? Can you find your public key transacted crypto?
Yeah, okay. Look at that document. How to? I'm trying to do it now.
Yeah.
Okay. And I post it in the. Just here in the text in the
exactly
channel. All right.
Okay, so that looks like a Tezos public key. As you can see, it starts with TZ. That is the signature for the Tezos public keys, and the rest is it. So one thing I want to share with everyone about whenever you are transacting in crypto or sending money, obviously you're not gonna remember all of these digits in this random order at all. So obviously the safest thing to do is click copy and paste. It is fine to do copying and pasting public keys whenever you are in a safe and trusted environment, such as a Discord channel. But there are different scams out there that actually can change what you copy and paste. So if you're on a public website or if you are sending something that it's not a joke, you actually might be something that you don't even know. So it's fine to copy and paste addresses to send crypto to trusted parties, but always beware if you are out there in the general world and you are engaging with something where it's asking you to send something to a public key. Always be aware that if you are copying and pasting, might be something in the back of that could be compromising your system. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm actually going to jump over here and other laptop. All right, and Tezos just went through a nice little upgrade that should make transaction times quicker even. So we'll see how this one takes.
I have one more question, Reid. What is the difference between TZ1, TZ2, and TZ3? Are they any secure? Which one is more secure or any difference?
They do not. They are literally just different creations at different points in time. So Twitter is not necessarily unsafe. It is just that it is. So, I don't know how much other people news of NSO hacking or all the hacking that has been happening around WhatsApp for journalists and different human rights organizers in different parts of the world. But essentially, a lot of the way those have happened is literally by just basic links to websites or social media accounts that have other data in that can hurt your systems. So I am not anywhere near an expert in what the most elite hacking do, but to click something off any type of public area can be concerning. One way that you can solve this is, especially if you're on an English speaking Mac, doing Command Shift C and Command Shift V. So copy and paste and delete formatting. So you essentially, if you copy it off Twitter, copy it, put it into like an email draft or Google Doc, and then remove all formatting and then copy that text out. That's one way you can scrap anything off the back end of it. Okay, Andrea, we'll do you as well here. So. Are you sure that that is your key? It is. So, in case you were wondering, it is your public key. Okay. So, on the public copying and pasting the public key is literally just what is your risk tolerance. One way, if you are copying and paste a public key off Twitter, is copy and paste it into another document, then copy and paste it out of that where you're putting it on a crypto wallet. You just want to make sure that there's no additional data, encryption going on what you're putting out. You can have different types of hacking tools attached to them to they actually add something. Okay. Let me know if people not hear me. Is that it? All right. Let me know if now. Yeah, I was not speaking. I was actually from a couple Slacks that have been steadily blowing up over 45 minutes. Sorry about that. So we are going to push on. Folks that received the quasi airdrops, but a bit choppy. Okay, let me see if I can close down some things. Pardon me 1 second. I'm going to maneuver into better Wi-Fi. Okay, I hope this is better, and we'll push on from here. So, This is kind of the step-by-step process of what we just did. You know, access your wallet, identify the public key input, double check entry, even if you copy and paste, sign the transaction, wait. And it's the basic process for signing and receiving crypto. Next up is protecting your identity. So what we're going to do for the next couple of minutes here is I'm just going to walk through some very basic best practices as you all, as NFT artists, continue to engage as NFT artists in the crypto world. So pseudonymous economy, what is that? Why does this matter? So, you know, whether it is that you are engaging as an NFT artist under your own name, you're engaging under a pseudonym, you're engaging underneath the banner of a gallery or a development shop, or as the name that you have created for where you're going to do your NFT art, you need to understand that the pseudonymous economy is actually something that is very vibrant in the crypto world and is just fine and can actually be used to very solidly protect your identity across the digital world. There are different degrees of pseudonymity, and these are very important, as a pseudonym can be something as simple as an operational organizational name, a pen name, or a JPEG photo. Choose your own degree. But the thing to consider is that your reputation is actually all that matters. So when you're going out there and you are deciding, am I going to create my NFT profile as my real name, or if I'm going to do it as an organization, or if I'm going to do it as a made up name, you just need to understand that the only thing actually tied to whatever name you use, it's just a social construct. And the thing that really matters is your reputation attached to whatever name you choose. The reason we talk about this in this manner is that it's really important to understand that anything that is used out there in the world to identify you can also be used to potentially compromise your crypto accounts. One of the biggest aspects of this is doxing. Are people familiar with the term doxing, what that means? So doxing, and I see a couple questions in there that I will actually come back to and answer in a couple minutes. So doxing is essentially the process by which people can identify who you are as a real person and compromise not only your reputation, but also financial. This is done by people that might just be terrible people. They might have an issue with you. They might be competing artists that are seeing you sell and them themselves are struggling. It could be a range of reasons. It could be completely arbitrary. But what doxing really means is that whenever you are engaging with how you are identified in the digital, somebody out there is probably trying to figure out who you and where you store your crypto. I am being quite alarmist here for a reason, because we're talking about safety and security, so don't be too alarmed. A couple examples of doxing. Doxing means that you can actually do it to yourself by accident. On Twitter, I assume a lot of people are probably seeing a lot of people switching their profiles to collected NFT art, namely expensive collected NFT art as social reputation aspects. This is not a terrible idea, but in many regards it is. If I see that you have switched your profile, even if you use we're just going to use the Ethereum based project, the Bored Ape Yacht Club. If you switch your Twitter profile, even if you use a pseudonym, to a high priced Bored Ape JPEG, I can then go and see, okay, where is that on OpenSea? I can go and see who last collected it, your public key. I can then go and look up on the blockchain everything you've transacted in on the blockchain, including how much crypto you might have, what other high-priced NFTs you have, etc. And then if you are someone who has been doing a fair amount of collecting of high-priced NFTs, you might then become a target for someone to attack you and hack you. That is what doxing is. Being able to kind of identify yourself and make yourself a target out there in the world. So even if you are just switching your profile picture, even if you are just out there tweeting out that you collected someone's art because you want to support them, or you need to be aware that that is also a threat vector for you. You are exposing yourself in one way. The last bullet on this slide, maintaining multiple wallet accounts, is actually one way to prevent that. It's something that I maintain is two different hot wallet accounts. One that actually holds things and one that does the collecting. So say you collect something, you can then transfer it to the one that holds it, so that you're only using a wallet for your public actions that doesn't have a lot of crypto in it, that doesn't hold a lot of high price NFTs, so that you're maintaining a separation between where you're storing things and where you're putting yourself. On this front. Does anyone have any kind of questions about what I just said? Yes, they can absolutely trace the transactions of wallet both, but you're essentially creating one extra step someone has to do. If you're thinking this is a person who's going to go and look 50 people in a day, they're probably not going to take that extra step, and that extra step might, secure you just as much. And I'm just pausing right now because I see two other people typing, seeing if other questions are coming. Actually, while you are typing, I will answer the one above. Question, can we transfer existing Higgins profiles and previous creations to a hardware wallet? Yes, you can. So Higgins profile or previous creations, those are the assets that are your previous creations. Those you can transfer anywhere and any. Your Higgins profile, as I understand it right now, is typically attached to the address you use to verify yourself. That one, I'm not sure if you can actually, transfer that to a hardware wallet. But you can, so, and then just to backtrack here, if the question is really, okay, I have my Higgins profile, it has all of my creations on it, but those are all tied to a hot wallet. How do I make all those tied to a cold wallet so I can feel more secure? You can actually do that, but you would actually then have to recreate your Higgins profile, most likely. I do not think they have the ability to key attached to it. That being said, I do understand that might create some issues. I think one solution to that is then you can verify yourself on Higgins through TZKT or through Tezos profiles by doing a self-attestation on social media. And if you want, I will be around in this Discord going forward. So if you have a question like this and want to chat through it, after this or in a week or two, you can always ping me, and I can help out as well. Dropping spam tokens to your wallet. That is actually not a security issue. Your public key is out there on the blockchain. So if they're dropping tokens to you, so be it. But it doesn't create a threat vector at all. Okay, and I'm just typing out a couple of things. Is there a command line tool for creating wallets offline? Yes, there is. Yes, there is a command line tool for creating wallets offline. There are a couple different open source ones for ledgers that you can find just basic Googling. I don't know if there is command line Kai. I'll have to ask their team, but yes, that does exist. Bob, I do not actually know the answer to that question. It strikes me as the answer should be yes, that you can, but I do not know it for certain. I think one thing we can do here is actually kind of collect a couple of questions like this that are more technically centered as we ship out all of these hard wallets, and then actually kind of have like an FAQ document built and do it in collaboration with both some folks over at Ledger and also some other folks to make sure we have all these answers perfectly answered.